Hi, my name is Joe Johns. I am the production director at Lenawee Broadcasting Company, which is the home of 103.9 WLEN and 96.5 The Cave. I also do production for Southeast Michigan Media, which owns Q95 Country and WABJ. Lots of work there at the radio stations. I started just at WLEN, and since my time there, the company has grown into 4 radio stations plus a streaming video service. So my job has changed a lot since I've been there, but today I want to talk to you about how I decided to get into radio in the first place. Shortly after I graduated from high school, I went in with a friend of mine into a factory up in Manchester, Michigan. That was the first auto factory that I'd ever worked in, and I was there for several years, and I worked in several more factories. There's a lot of turnover in factory work, which is, lots of employees coming in and lots of employees going out and getting rehired. And it's frustrating sometimes working in factories because it's hard to know how secure your job is. But I was able to work in factories for 10 years. The issue that I had with it is I never liked it. I did not like working in factories. The jobs were easy enough. They were somewhat physically taxing, but it wasn't challenging. So I knew after 10 years of digging through the trenches in the factories, I wanted to do something else. So I started looking around at different colleges, universities, things that I wanted to do, just looking at the different options that were out there for me. Because at the time, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I heard a radio ad for Specs Howard School of Media Arts. And I took a look in their curriculum to see what they offered. And with all the classes that they had, I looked down the list and I was like, I want to do all of that. This is what I have a big interest in. So I went and I visited the school. It was a very cool school. I really enjoyed my time there. I got in right away, and while I was working at a factory in Jackson full time, I was also going to school in Detroit full time, which was tough because I live in Adrian, Michigan, which means I'm going to drive 45 minutes to Jackson for a first shift job in the morning and then get out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, drive 45 minutes to Adrian, have just enough time to get a shower and eat some dinner, and then I would have to drive out to Detroit, an hour and a half there, to have night classes at Specs Howard. And I did that for several months, and it was a lot, and it was worth it. I was determined to do well. I guess if I had any regrets in my life, it's that I didn't do as well in high school as I think I should have, because I know that I'm a smart enough guy, and I got through high school by acing my tests. I rarely did homework, but I would ace my tests, and I passed high school, but I knew that going into higher education, doing more after high school, I wanted to do better. So I excelled at Specs Howard. I won awards for performance excellence. I had almost a 4.0 GPA throughout all my classes, and I graduated with honors through Specs Howard. And as soon as I got done with the school program, I came back to Adrian, and I called WLEN immediately. I talked to their program director there, and I said, "Hi, I'm Joe Johns. I just graduated from Specs Howard. What do I have to do to work at WLEN? If I need to, I'll scrub toilets. Just anything I can do to get my foot in the door at WLEN." And the man that I talked to was our program director, Dale Gartner, and he's a fantastic person, and he got me in that next weekend to start training on the night shift with Mike Reynolds. So I started training there in November of 2011, and I've been there ever since. I started as a part-time DJ that would just fill in if one of the regular DJs needed a day off or was taking vacation or even was sick. Dale would call me and say, "Hey, can you come in and cover this shift?" And absolutely. I was on top of it every single time. So for a long time, just being part-time until I eventually got the Sunday morning program. Every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 1 p.m., I was on the radio. And it just keeping that track throughout several years, I was able to get a position there at the radio station doing sales. I did sales for a couple of years until the production director position came open, which is what I really wanted to do. I love audio editing, recording, creating all the commercials, everything local that you hear on our radio stations is what I produce. So I did that from April of 2016 to today, and I've loved every minute of it.